in your dreams.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Genshin Impact video, and today I'm just going to be talking about did Dendro kill Ganyu. By the way, if you happen to like the content, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It'd be really appreciated. So did Dendro kill Ganyu? First, let me just explain on what made Ganyu good to begin with. For one thing, Ganyu just really has high as fuck multipliers, especially in her charged attacks. Ganyu's the only bow character as of right now that's essentially a sniper. You just use Ganyu's charge attacks and the enemies are just going to basically be dead. Combine this with reactions and Ganyu is a beast. Also, Ganyu's kit also provides some utility. For instance, her E skill is a taunt that can help taunt enemies. So if any mob gets too close to Ganyu, you can just press E and then just safely distance yourself from the enemy and continue sniping away. Ganyu's passives, Harmony Between Heaven and Earth, the Celestial Shower, which is Ganyu's burst, grants a 20% cryo damage bonus to active party members in the AoE. So not only does this passive buff Ganyu even further, it can even buff other cryo characters like Ayaka. So Ganyu can be more than just a main DPS, she can also be a sub DPS as well. Ganyu also just works really well at C0, her constellations just gives her more utility and more damage. C1 basically just decreases the enemy's cryo res whenever Ganyu does a level 2 charge shot. C2 gives Ganyu an extra charge on her E so you can have 2 taunts at the same time. C4 just boosts Ganyu's Celestial Shower. And at C6, whenever Ganyu uses her E skill, the next charge shot will not require as much time to charge up. So at C0, Ganyu is goated, but at C6, she's even more goated. She also has a pretty good free-to-play bow option in the Hamayumi, which is a Inazuma weapon. One of Ganyu's best team comps back in the day is Diona, Venti, and Mona. Diona would provide the shield and the healing. Mona will provide the hydro to freeze the enemies. And I do believe that Mona can provide the Thrilling Tales buff and the Omen buff from her burst. Venti was just there to suck up the enemies, group them together, so Ganyu can basically snipe them while they are frozen and grouped up together. I also do believe that Venti also played the role as like a second battery. This was probably one of the best teams back in the day, but it slowly just broke off. For one thing, Inazuma introduced heavier enemies, so they were a lot harder to suck and group together. So Venti slowly fell off from there, but you could use Kazuha instead. And since Kazuha can boost elemental damage, he was a lot better than Venti. Magu Kenki was also a instance of anti-Ganyu. Magu Kenki does have a shield that protects him from projectiles, more specifically bow attacks. You can defeat the Magu Kenki with Ganyu, but it does take quite a bit of effort. Then eventually we got to Sumeru, which introduced Dendro. Dendro is probably one of the best free-to-play elements in the game because it doesn't require too much investment to make it work. For a majority of the characters in Dendro comps, all you really need is just EM. That's all you need. For Nilou's case, you just need HP. Dendro also doesn't react with cryo, so there's no elemental reactions going on with cryo and Dendro. Dendro overall is just a fun and great element. Why bother going back to cryo when Dendro is here? Dendro gave a huge buff to Electro, something that Electro needed, and arguably Electro is a lot better than cryo as of right now. Dendro, one of the best elements in the game, works with Electro. One thing I forgot to mention is one of Ganyu's rivals, Ayaka. Ayaka is arguably a lot more easier to use than Ganyu, especially since Genshin is a mobile game. Majority of the players play Genshin on their phone, so using Ganyu on their phone is probably not as fun as using Ayaka. One thing I noticed between Ayaka and Ganyu is that Ayaka has a lot more Abyss usage than Ganyu. Ganyu, as of right now, is sitting around 10% Abyss usage, while Ayaka is 30%. The new Dendro and Electro characters and even old Electro characters are having higher Abyss usage. Sino is at 15, Tainari is at 17, Shinobu is at 39, Nilou is at 60, I'll Hate Them is at 57, Nahida is at 87. So all these new Dendro and Electro characters have higher Abyss usage than Ganyu. So to answer the question, did Dendro kill Ganyu? Well, kind of, yeah. Now, if you want to pull for her, go ahead. I mean, Ganyu is still a very great character. But the current Abyss right now isn't really that friendly to her. We got the Ruin Overseer in the first half, which is weak to Electro, something that works really well with Dendro, and Electro doesn't really work well with Ganyu. And the second half has Mangun Kinki, which is basically anti-Ganyu. Now when it comes to Abyss, I wouldn't really worry too much about it. Abyss in this game is kind of shit. It's basically just there, not just for endgame. It's only there just to advertise whoever's on rate up. If anyone were to ask me, should you pull for Baiju or Ganyu, I'd say Ganyu. Because for one, she's waifu and Ganyu is also really great. Stop worrying about Abyss because it's shit. So that's going to be the end of this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Anyone rolling for Ganyu, and I'll see you guys later.
Bye bye now. Come again soon.